trained in Italy, and during my university I became very, very interested in cardiovascular medicine. So I decided to move to the UK to get a better training. And I started my postgraduate training in the UK, starting with research funded by the BHF.
So I studied for a degree at the University of Leeds in physiology, and then I joined the British Heart Foundation's PhD programme here at the University of Manchester. I've been training on a variety of techniques.
I've been working here for 3 years, including my master year.
I did my undergraduate at Birmingham, University of Birmingham. It was in biomedical science, so I did 3 years there.
CPVT is an inherited cardiac condition, so it can be transmitted from parents to children, caused by faulty genes, which alters the electrical behavior of the heart and can result in irregular heart rhythms that can be life-threatening.
So CPVT is an inherited cardiac arrhythmia syndrome, which is low prevalence, but it can present non-symptomatic, but when it does present it can be fatal.
So CPVT is inherited kind of condition with your heart, and it means that the people that have got something called a mutation, so in one of their genes, people that carry this mutation, they're predisposed to something called an arrhythmia, which is a problem with the way that your heart beats essentially.
We are testing new treatments. Some of these are drugs which are already available for the treatment of other conditions, and we are testing whether we can repurpose them. At the same time, we are also developing new drugs to treat this condition.
So at the moment I'm looking at how these receptors, which are mutated in most forms of CPVT, ranitidine receptors, change in their localization and expression in our heart muscle cells.
So I work on arrhythmias in general, so problems with the rate or rhythm of the heart. What our lab generally focuses on is calcium and how calcium is regulated in the heart. So what we're trying to do is work out if this protein that I'm interested in can help regulate calcium in the heart, and that means that the patients that have heart failure don't then suffer from these arrhythmias, because they contribute to around half of the deaths of patients in heart failure, so it's a really big burden.
So if we understand precisely how a specific point mutation in CPVT affects, for example, what I'm looking at is the ranitidine receptor, then potentially we can develop new small molecule inhibitors which better target the ranitidine receptor and therefore better treat CPVT in the long term.
The hope is that over the next 5 years it will totally revolutionize the treatment of CPVT, because we are coming up with new molecules to treat it.
So for me it's amazing to be able to study how the heart functions at a cellular and molecular level, but it's even more amazing to understand that by understanding these processes we could potentially have real-world impact in improving the lives of people with CPVT, for example.
And I think the important thing is that it's one of the areas in medicine where research has had the highest impact. It's really revolutionized the treatment of patients with cardiac arrest, with MI, with heart failure over the last 20 years.
Yeah, definitely, because the supervisor I work with, Professor Andy Trevor, he is a very world-leading scientist in this field, so this is definitely a very good place to work on, and he's also very supportive. The whole division is very supportive for students.
People say it about Manchester in general, but I really noticed it at this university that everyone is just so lovely and people want to help you, and like I say, you can go into so many different labs and people will help you out with different things. So I think that the department in general is just a lovely one to be at.
Manchester is an ideal place for cardiovascular research. In particular for CPVT, we have got one of the largest centre for genomic medicine, so all the genetic tests that are done to diagnose CPVT at molecular level are all done in here. We were one of the first centres in the country to start doing that. We've got a huge patient basis because our catchment area is the largest outside London, so it's a fantastic, and we have got a really wide range of research basic science research skills. So it's an ideal place to do cardiovascular research, but more specifically this type of research. We and other groups have identified new potential treatments that are just going the preclinical evaluation now, and hopefully in the next 5-10 years we'll get to the clinical arena.
I think there is a role for scientists to not only publish their work within the scientific community, but make an effort for that to be widespread within the public as well.